The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Today we have a very special guest. It's Boston folk singer-songwriter Grace Givertz. She just released a new album this year called Midnight Feature. It's orchestral. It's amazing. And I'm really excited to talk to her today. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is episode 451, Struggling with Grace Givertz. Well, welcome, Grace Givertz. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. And I thought what was cool is because you're in like the middle of what I would call like peak album cycle work. Like it's been out for a while. You've been out there hustling, promoting the record, talking to people about it, doing lots of stuff. And so first, how's it going?
It's going well. I think that I have been really lucky to be in a lot of rooms that have had a lot of wonderful people in them with this album. And I think that I am trying to remind myself that me 5 years ago would never believe where me now is. So I need to stay in the moment with that and feel happy about everything that has been happening. Because I think as an independent artist, it can get really difficult to be like, well, I don't have 5 billion streams.
Right.
And I don't have $5 billion. When those aren't really the real indicators of success. Like the real indicators of success have been that I've been able to go to cities that I don't live in, and there have been people who know the words to my songs. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Crazy. I cried the first time.
Did you have a favorite one so far?
Well, I think I was most surprised in Philly when someone knew my songs, and it was my old songs, and I was like, what do you mean? Because I was just very surprised, because like I kind of I expect if I see friends in like Rhode Island or in Maine, like they're my buds. They're probably gonna remember my songs, and no, this was someone that is now a new bud, but they were not my bud.
Well, what's interesting is it's like I was listening to I've like spent more time with the new record, but I went back and listened to the first one, and it's like there's so much ground you've covered in that time. Like I don't want to say it feels like a different person, but in some ways, it sort of is. And I mean, I guess so. Moving to this new record, does it feel like you're in a whole new, like, emotional personal songwriting, or really a songwriting place, because it feels like the approach to songwriting is so much different. Like, this is a very you record that you've realized with this one.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I just finished, right before we got on this, I finished a new song, and I was thinking about that, where it's like, wow, I would have never written this song 10 years ago because I thought it was such a niche subject, like nobody cares, like I sound like a crybaby, because it was a song about, I recently lost one of my pets. My pet lizard Pomelo, she passed away very suddenly, and so I wrote a song just about like pet grief and pet loss, and I'd always wanted to write a song like that, but I was like, no one's gonna I'm gonna sound so stupid if I'm singing about my dead cat. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. And I think that's the same. I think it's just getting more and more every day. I'm like that, but with the approach of Midnight Feature, it kind of was when I first just started feeling like, you know what? I don't care if I'm very hyper specific about details in these songs. I don't care if they make people uncomfortable. This is my story, and there's nothing incriminating. I think that I think right when I was putting the songs together for Midnight Feature, I really just started to feel like, you know what? I don't care about being cryptic about it. Here's the street address.
Right. Well, yeah, I made a little note about that, because we have a lot of streets mentioned, name dropped in this record.
Yes.
And what's nice about listening to another local artist is like, oh, I know the streets, or I know most of the streets. Some streets could exist in any major city. Most streets exist in major cities, but there's a few when you check them that you're like, oh, I know where that place is. And I think the hyper specific thing is interesting, because it feels like you're making the work more closed off, but I feel like people connect with that stronger, because it gets like when I'm listening to music and there's such a direct reference to like something, I'm like, oh wow, that's real. Like that's life. That is like how it is. Like that could be you. And so it makes like the personal universal, and which is a very weird thing to try to do, because I've noticed if you try to be too universal with a song, you really don't get anywhere. Like you don't get very far. You're not being like vulnerable with it, I guess, becomes the thing.
Exactly.
And so with this record, one thing I love about it is it seems like it's built very intentionally, or at least it is structured and sequenced like really skillfully, because it's Midnight Feature. It feels like going to a movie. I sort of have a working theory of it in my mind, because you have like an opening salvo that feels like opening credits. You open with the strings that feels like okay, and then
I love hearing that it worked.
projects sort of like what the tone and what to forecast for like the coming songs. And then it closes, but my hot take, and you can tell me if I'm wrong about this, is it closes on Midnight Feature as like the closer, and America sort of recontextualizes almost everything else in like a grander context. Because up until that point, it's like all sort of personal or interior songs. Like it's dealing a lot with the interior. And then I thought it was really nice, skillful stroke to bring it like, to then seat it in this like more global, more outward focused like lens. And so I guess that was a lot of me yapping about.
No, but you were right. And I love that I did not plant that idea in your head with anything other than the songs and their structure. Like that makes me so happy that I didn't, that it worked. But I wanted it to feel like a story, and very much so like you were going through different scenes in the movie, and there was the climax, which I think is bruxism. Personally, it's my magnum opus. I'll never shut up about that song. And then it peaks, and it has peaks and valleys, and so I think it really does follow a true narrative. And then I put America in at the end because I didn't want to put it as like a deluxe or like a
Right, yeah.
B-side, but I
No
really,
Taylor Swift treatment.
Exactly. No, there wasn't going to be an America Grace's version, but if there was, it'd be much better than this current America. Anyway, that's beside the point. I really wanted to put that song on there just because I love that song and it means so much to me, and I wrote it during the first Trump administration and never thought that I'd be putting an album out during the second. And so it felt like I couldn't put out something without being kind of conscious of my surroundings, because I think it's really easy as an artist to be like, no, we need to focus on the art. We need to really make sure that we're talking about like the whole universe we've created. And it's like, no, I want to write music that can exist, they can coexist. And I really wanted to provide that juxtaposition that like, okay, my world can feel like it's ending because I'm going through a devastating heartbreak and friend breakup and chronic illness and all of this stuff. But at the same time, bigger, quote unquote, bigger and more universal systemic issues can exist. And then that's kind of where America came in, where I felt some guilt around putting out an album in this.
Yeah, that's sort of a
that just kind of felt like a little bit like a nod at like, hey, don't worry, I didn't forget.
Well, I think it works really well, like in the context of the record and what it does. Like even musically, it's much more like away from like the Grace cinematic universe of like the previous songs.
I like the GCU.
The GCU. You can
the GCU.
Keep that.
I'll give you credits on it.
Thanks. But I think like what's tricky is I notice a lot of artists feel a sense of obligation to pursue certain subjects, but they lack the depth of something to really get anywhere effective. And that's not true of everything. Like, and I'm not saying people shouldn't do that, but it's not uncommon that I like listen to artists that seem like they're doing bumper sticker politics.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And like that doesn't really help. And usually anytime we have like a flashpoint moment in American culture, which there have been a lot, and then amplified with like our social media landscape, I find that people really feel like they have to say something to be seen as saying something and for no other reason.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It can get very performative. And I think that as a disabled Black Jewish woman living in the United States of America, I myself am just a walking like topic. And it's just like there's every little piece of me is something that
you hit every
gnawed at. And I don't know how to approach anything from something other than lived experience, but I do think that people without that lived experience still have an obligation to talk about it. Like I'm not a person who thinks that just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still fight for it. For example, Midnight Feature exclusively features marginalized artists, so BIPOC, LGBTQ+, and or disabled artists, because I really just wanted to make sure that the voices that I know are in folk music that are being silenced and being quieted so that white people can sing about our problems, kind of to your point, need to be heard. So it's like I don't know what it's like to live life as a trans person, but I am gonna do my darndest to make sure that the life that they live is good, because it's just basic human rights. And I'm not gonna sing a song about something that I haven't experienced because it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel true. It feels like you said, bumper sticker politics. But I'm going to give a voice to a trans artist 150%. And so I think that people sometimes think they have to speak on things that they don't have the experience or the place to speak on, just to speak about it, to make sure that they are seen as they care. And it's like, I do care. And it's like, okay, good. I'm glad you care. But what if you just pass the mic?
Right. And it ends up like eating a lot of oxygen.
Yeah. Rather than being like, I don't know. Here's someone who is experiencing it, and this is how they told me I can show up.
Right. And I think what I love, and like what I think is nice that ties it all together is like the way you've like arranged working with collaborators in a specific way gives the whole thing like political momentum. I wish it wasn't like a political issue, but it makes me think that like it's not just music that is political, it's sort of like how artists move. You know, and I think that's almost like more important. Like there was a band that my partner really loves that sings like exclusively like breakup songs, like melodic pop punk breakup songs, but the way they treat their project and the way they like move in certain spaces is like political action. And at a certain point you can't like do that for everything. You can't be like, well, me writing my songs and going out playing is the same as political action, but it is a political statement, you know, in and of itself. The existence of the art and the spaces in which the art lives, I think, is really important. And it led me to a weird thought, is that you play a lot of different spaces, a wide variety of spaces, crossing a lot of different communities. Like you play in what I would call like, I don't want to call it the folk establishment because I feel like that is rude. It's an establishment. But there is a folk establishment that embraces your music, but there's also like a DIY culture that thrives like in New England that's embraced your music. So like, do you ever get like whiplash or weird experiences that you wouldn't expect from like different places? Because I think sometimes you expect something from one and it's not. I had a very interesting experience a couple months ago where I played a show, and there was also a book signing, and I'm not going to talk about the book or anything like that, but it was like a book signing, and there was an author there, and it was all about the Boston hardcore scene. And it was very respected person, was very kind, but they had their book talk, I don't know what it's called. They had that right before I played, and so they were signing books during my set. And it was just very jarring to me to see that the whole community of people who were like, we love what you've done for Boston DIY. We love DIY. We love respecting small artists. Were literally scream talking over my set. And so that was I was very surprised. I was genuinely shocked that that crowd of people was so disrespectful to what they were just saying that they revere and they hold up as like the most important thing, which is listening to artists. So that was, I think that was the most recent experience. I have plenty of stories of being the only black person in a room playing to a bunch of old white people. But that is just most of New England sometimes. And my dad's an old white man. It's fine. I love my old white man. It's good. But there's just a level of understanding and kind of shared experience that I thought that I would get from the DIY scene recently, that I was like, hello? Did you lose the plot? It felt like you lost the plot. So there's to a certain extent, like performing out, a lot of things don't seem to ever change. But sort of how have you changed? Like over these intervening years between your first and second albums, you played a lot. So I guess like, have you started approaching like the stage or the proverbial stage in like a different way, or in a way that gives you because I think like even in the best circumstances possible, artists kind of need to have some kind of thick skin to survive, let alone in situations where people are giving them grief for all kind of things, or if like they're the only one in the room doing what they're doing and being how they are. So I guess has that experience like changed for you a little bit, or?
A little bit, just because I've gotten more confident. I used to let the way that the audience or lack of audience was reacting to the set really dictate how I moved and how I felt about it. But I have found that if I turn my brain off a little bit if I have a crowd that maybe isn't as interested or isn't as engaged as others, and I just turn my brain off kind of and turn it into a practice session.
Yeah, I mean that's
and that's what I have to look at it like, because no two gigs are the same and no two audiences are the same, and I love performing because of that. But I try not to put so much pressure on a room that just doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes it's not gonna connect.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I think I can relate with a lot of people, and I'm a people person, and I do a good job at that, but I do understand that like sometimes people are just gonna see a banjo and they're like, I'm good. They're gonna recoil, they're like, no, I'm not even gonna, I'm good.
See, I feel like I've seen the opposite experience, but no, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
See, but see, here's the thing, right? I feel like a lot of time when I'm playing out, just my experience of being a woman playing the banjo, even people look at it and they're like, oh, she probably can't play that. Or even with guitar, they're like, she probably can't play that. And it's like, no, better than a lot of the guys who were playing yesterday. So I think that people don't think it's as cool as you think they would.
Well,
as an invitation to, oh wow, what is this? They're like, oh, I see a banjo, I don't like country music. And maybe that's also coming from a sense of the racism that has been exploited and profited off of in country and folk and Americana music in general, that I know so many people of color who just grew up not liking or not feeling like they could like country music or folk music or roots music because it is always associated with or it has in the past been associated with the South and racism and slave, and so it goes back to all of this generational trauma to the people it's hard sometimes to reach my ideal audience because sometimes people see banjo as a weapon, not knowing that it's ours and that it was ours to start with,
and it is yours now.
Will always be ours. And so I'm like, wait.
Yeah, because sometimes I notice when people see anything other than a guitar, it's sometimes their impression of the performance gets reduced to just like the novelty of the thing rather than like the listening experience. Yeah. And so, was banjo your first instrument?
No, guitar. Well, voice was, but guitar was my first instrument. And then I got a banjo when I was 16. On my 16th birthday in a Ruby Tuesdays.
In a Ruby Tuesdays?
Was it
a gift?
Birthday dinner.
Is a birthday gift?
It was my 16th birthday present, was a banjo. It's this banjo right behind my head.
Nice.
And yeah, I wanted it because Taylor Swift was playing a banjo on the Grammys that year. And I said, I want one of those. And I had learned 3 words, Mumford and Sons, and I wanted to be and daughter. So I don't have a cool origin story where
I mean that's kind of cool.
But I feel like when people are like, oh, how'd you learn the banjo? They're like, oh, I got one from my great uncle who was in the war. And I'm like, nah, I got mine in a Ruby Tuesdays.
Well, that's almost more folk music though, because I think people have this impression, or they really want to see folk music as rustic, I guess, quote unquote. So like the more old time, the more in the woods. Like if a dude's playing banjo and has like overalls, they're like, oh my God. And they have like a sense to like fetishize it in a weird way. And it's totally right. or sometimes a lot of it, but it's like there's and it's created like a weird shift. Not a weird shift. It's just, but I'm like, folk music is people sitting around playing music. It's like the music of the people, you know? And so it's like the marketing shift of like the back half of the 20th century to like, it's sort of bizarre. So it's like, when I'm listening to what you're saying, it's like you get up there as a woman playing a banjo, and it's like, yeah, because what people have been programmed to like expect a certain thing from a banjo, even musically, like to apply a banjo in like on this record a lot more pop contexts. You know, there's like reverb on the banjo.
Yeah.
So I guess to me that does sound like a folk story. It's not like I think people want everything to be like very backwoods to like embrace it.
And I think that's a lot of what was Year of the Horse, my first record. I kind of fell into that trap, right? Like I made that record is more traditionally Americana / folk /
Americana's
and I think I did that because I wanted to play to the people who I thought would care and who would listen. And I was very in my head at that point in time of being just, well, I need to make music that people are gonna like. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I need to make music that I like. And not that I love my first record. I think I'm so proud of what we were able to do with it and how much I've grown since then. But there are some areas where I just wish that I had stayed more true to myself and not let the influence of others and what I thought others wanted impact me so much.
And I mean, that's sort of like part of the journey, I feel like. And it's weird living with your stuff for a long time because I don't know what stage you're currently at, but I find myself going in waves where it's like when I just put out something out, I'm really excited. Then like a year or two passes, then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I did like that good of a job. Yeah. And then much more time passes and I'm like, you know what? Good job. There's something that like endears me to like who I was or what I was doing. Like I'll look back and be like, who did that?
like was that me?
Yeah. And it's so like was there like a song where you're like, oh, this is like this new place I'm living in? I cracked the code on the GCU.
In the GCU, when did I get my Infinity Stones? Is what you're asking.
Honestly, I don't know enough about Marvel or anything to really say.
I know more than you think I would.
Did you go to a lot of midnight features?
Well, we went. So this is like totally a sidebar, but it's just some lore.
No, that's what I want the lore.
We went to go see Spider-Man the Sunday the Sunday it came out. So it came out on Thursday. We went on Sunday, and my fiance and I were like off the internet. We were like, we're not gonna let it get spoiled. We were so excited. Sold out theater. We got our seats. We got our popcorn. We're good. Literally, we watch the trailers. They all start. They're playing. And then it gets to the point where it's like, you know, when the lights go all the way down. And then the screen is like black and then it's going like blah, 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 productions, blah, blah, blah. Fire alarm goes off. And I sat there for a minute because I was like,
I'm not leaving.
So it's gonna go off. It's gonna turn. No. They're like, please evacuate. So we stood outside for like an hour. And we're like, maybe they'll let us back in. And so they didn't. And we went home and ate our popcorn.
Did they give you a bunch of free passes?
No. So
that's wild.
I love going to the movies. So I'm an AMC.
Oh, you're a member?
I'm an AMC A-lister. And if you go to more than one movie a month, become an A-lister. I'm not sponsored by them. Become an A-lister. There's no reason for you to be spending
You could get a sponsorship.
I should. AMC
you should
sponsor me. But no, there's also my secret at the movie theater, specifically at AMC, is the mega bag. So if you order a mega bag, it's 3 large popcorns in a giant Ziploc bag. I don't have one currently, otherwise I would bring it and show you. But it's got three large popcorns in a giant bag with a Ziploc. It's $25, and you can take it home. And it lasts me a week.
That's pretty good. That's a lot. That's a lot.
And so
that's a lot of popcorn.
It's not enough. So we went to the back to the movies on Monday. We went Monday night, and we brought the mega bag back because I was like, I'm not buying more popcorn. They did refund my mega bag. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Shout out AMC. We need
AMC.
The great sponsorship.
We make movies better.
Like I can't think of anyone.
Pulls the fire alarm.
To continue the sidebar, when I was a teenager, my brother went to go see Godzilla. I think it was like the 2000s Godzilla, and like the same thing happened. That they got comped tickets, and that was at like what became an AMC. So
yeah,
they need to up their customer service.
But it's not even
just a little bit.
But I didn't even get a free ticket because it was already technically free.
Right, yeah.
Like they refunded my $0 ticket.
But still, they should have, like, someone should have been, like, handing something out to you and be like, oh, we're so sorry. Here's some physicality.
Here's a mega bag.
to take home. But yeah, so, sorry, I don't think we ever got to it. What is the Infinity Stones?
Well, the Infinity Stones is when...
or the stone, yeah, like
and the actual song. I thought you
were sorry, no. I won't make you explain. I won't make you explain Marvel to me.
Trailer? Okay. No. I think the song that I was like, oh, I'm on to something, was probably Pennies and Fishes, because it was the first song that I wrote after I finished recording Midnight Feature and releasing Midnight Feature. It was Pennies and Fishes. And I think that song, I was like, I like that. And then I really wrote the majority of this stuff during lockdown, because I had nothing else to do and I lived by myself. I had nothing else to do but fester. And that is how this album happened, is I festered alone.
That's not, I mean, everyone had a certain approach. I'm still not really over it. It's been like many years now. I'm not over it. Like I'm still like thinking I'm in COVID times in my brain.
Yeah, same.
Like I am. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of work done in that time, sort of because I felt no pressure to work. I was just like, I guess this is my life. Every day is the same. I have nothing. I don't need to express myself. The world just exists and I can just live in it. And so in a weird way, I was sort of more at peace then than I am now, where I'm like doing lots of things. But so you wrote these songs, like, and now they're coming out in 2026. And what I'm curious about is like, at what point did you make a decision to like execute them in this way, like with the arrangements that are on the record? Because it is such a jump from the Americana of the first record. I mean, not that there's not a through line, but there is a lot more unique sounds and intentionality, like in the design, like the sound design.
Yeah, thank you. We started recording it in 2023. And it took a year to finish recording it. Because
I mean, that's not bad.
No, I mean, like I see all these people and they're like, yeah, I went in the studio for a week and we finished. And I'm like, what?
That's a dream.
It's a dream. Yeah. I have a full-time job. That is not music, unfortunately. And so it took us a year, and then I sat on it for 2 years because I wanted a label to put it out so bad. I was shopping. I had my shopping cart. I was shopping, and my cart was empty. And then I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I already feel somewhat disconnected from these songs. If I wait any longer, there's no way that I'm going to be able to sing them or talk about them with any conviction because they're so old. Like that's how I was starting to feel. I was just feeling very like and now that they're out and I'm singing them all the time, I love these songs. I think they're some of my best work, but I was starting to get in my head really about it. So I just put it out.
Yeah, I mean, because like when you're the only one hearing it, like it gets to be, or you and a limited number of people are hearing it, you're like, oh, cool. Then you're like, oh, is it? Is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this it? Then you're like, there's no like response at all. So it can be sitting with something is very extremely difficult. I find, especially like when you've invested a lot of yourself, and very often a lot of your cash, like doing a project, and then like when it's out, like you can feel some sort of. I was talking to someone who said when they release an album, it's the most terrible feeling because now they need to work on the next thing.
Yeah.
And so I guess, are you someone who makes like designs on your records? You're like, I'm moving like in this direction. I want to make a record that has this kind of thing. Like,
no, I think I just go through periods. Like it's happening to me again now where I didn't write a song for 2 years while I was sitting on Midnight Feature. I felt constipated. I was like, I can't get anything out. This is all I can think about. And so now that it's out and in the world, I've been writing more and it's felt very nice. And I kind of feel like I have a vision of what I'm doing and what I'm trying to say, because all of the songs, they're different, but they go together. So I'm like, they do. Could they live together in the album? But no, I don't have that many yet. But I finally feel like I can write again.
No, I mean that's like a huge thing, because it's like, I think when you're not enjoying the writing, it very often gets like reflected in the songs. Like when someone really enjoyed writing a song and they really enjoy playing it, like it usually shows. Yeah, it is another art to capturing that effectively, like for a record per se. But like sometimes you really. So I guess here's a question from a technical songwriting record or technical songwriting perspective. Like, have you written songs that like don't work, and do you know when to let go though? Like, because I guess sometimes I get stuff where I'm like, this is almost good, like, and I'm trying to convince myself it's good, but the better thing is to let it go because I know it's not there. Like I've had so many ideas that I want to work that just for one reason or another, like there's something in there, but they don't cross the finish line.
Yeah, I have a bunch of notes in my phone that literally just end mid-sentence because I'm like, I'm done. It's like you got 2 verses or like a chorus and then it just ends mid-sentence, and I'm like, but it's nice sometimes when I'm on the airplane and I don't have Wi-Fi, and I forgot to download something from Apple Music, I will go through my old voice memos and I'll be like, sometimes it's like looking for stuff that you're like, did I write something? Like maybe I didn't like it then and I like it now. And I found a couple of songs that I'm like, I forgot I wrote that. I think I know how I can finish it. And it's like I have a 10-year-old song that is sitting there and I'm like, I think I know what I can do with this now. So it's cool to be able to kind of have that conversation with your past self too, and I never throw them away entirely where I can't retrieve them. They just go in the.
Well, they go. So do you do a lot of editing? Like in terms of, well, I guess there's 2 ways I would consider editing. One is like splicing stuff together, like in terms of like ideas.
In the past, but I feel like more recently I have been. It's not something that I'd done before. I really wrote songs in I'm sitting here, I'm playing, I'm writing. And it wasn't oh, well, let me go pull this. Oh, I said this once. And so I didn't do that before, but with my rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis and not being able to play the instruments in the way that I used to and not be able to play for as long as I used to, I find that I have had to get creative and figure out ways to write that don't include using my hands. Well, obviously I'm typing, but they don't include using my hands to play, because the way that I write is really I have to be playing something. I can't just
sit there and
I can sit there and write, but it's not going to be a song. It's not going to be a song. So I've had to play around with it, but I just got an omnichord, so that's been nice.
Nice.
So I can at least have like a note, like I just need something, and I don't know how to play piano, and the droning of the omnichord, I think, is the answer of like, I just need the sound. I need something there to make a melody off of. And that's how I can write. So I don't know if that actually answered your question or
no. I mean that's awesome. I think like sometimes like I like having different instruments around that can be functional tools. Mm-hmm. Like you pick them up just to get something different. And the omnichord is very different. It is sort of having like a nice moment right now, which is interesting, but it's like picking up like an electronic piece of gear after using like acoustic instruments for so long. Like how has that, well, I guess it's maybe too soon to say, like when the omnichord record's coming out.
I don't know that there will be an omnichord record ever.
Okay, so it's more of like a
omnichord on the next record. I promise you that. But there is also something that I realized with Midnight Feature. My dog's about to throw up. 1 second.
No
Vinny?
worries.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, no worries.
He's my first dog, and I've never had. I never had to think about like when my cats threw up. Like I would clean it up.
Yeah, they just do
it.
If
I was in the middle of this is disgusting. But if I was in the middle of something, I could just leave it there and get it in a minute. But I have to pick it up, or he's gonna eat it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dog dad now, which I never thought would happen. And like I lived with dogs growing up, but I never really had like my own pet of any kind. Mm-hmm. And so at first I was very whatever about it. I was like not really that interested in having a pet, and now
it changes you.
I am that guy. Yeah,
I mean, look at it.
I saw a dog hanging out of a postal truck window today. So the post officer just drives around. Post officer, is that what it is? Just drives around with his dog all day. And the dog just hangs out the window and is very
like
well behaved. Yeah.
That sounds like a very good life.
And I mean, yeah, may we all hope to be the government dog. Get that government dog cheese.
Yeah. No, write a song about it.
But yeah, like one thing I was curious about is you haven't always lived in Boston. You're like 10 years in Boston now. And you're from Florida originally, right? And so
don't say it like no, you can say it like that. That's how
sorry,
I say it. From Florida.
It's listen, I have nothing against people from Florida, but being in Florida for me is very generally unpleasant experience.
I agree.
Like it's a strange place. Like one defense of it I've heard is that someone's like, "Oh, Florida might be like the weirdest place in the world," and I'm like, I'll accept that argument. Like,
I agree.
You get lizards falling out of trees, all kinds of weird things. But so you move up to Boston 10 years ago, and like, when did you have designs on like playing out immediately, or like when did that kind of start for you?
I'm gonna play whenever I'm gonna go all over the place, and I was just emailing people, and I was like, hi, and the first people to take a chance on me were the Somerville Arts Council, and I love them very much, and I still work with them to this day because they're incredible, and I sent them my YouTube videos, and they were like, yeah, chill, you want to play this set? I said, yeah. And so that opened every door for me.
Nice.
And I had a lot of friends that went to Berkeley, so I've been around musicians and the scene.
So it didn't take you long to like jump in.
No, I'm persistent.
I know.
I'm like a cockroach. You can't kill me.
Hey, you know what? underrated insect. People are very
They
mean
are.
about cockroaches. They're much more invasive ones I'd rather not interact with. You know, I forget how many billions of insects there are for each human on Earth.
I
But
love bugs.
it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm trying to learn and respect the fact that it's just an insect world that we're living in.
We have nothing on them.
It's very strange. So I guess what's next for you for like coming through this year of supporting the record? I know you have stuff coming up. Is there anything specific you want to plug or shout out?
Yeah, I'm going to be playing at the Rhode Island Folk Festival on August 30th. I'm saying
Awesome.
that questionably because I'm making sure I'm telling you the right date. Yes, it is. It is the 30th. Sunday the 30th.
Well, awesome.
At 3 p.m. I'll be playing. And then I'm excited. I'm going to my first Americana Fest this year. I'm not playing an official showcase, but I got a grant to go down there from Americana Fest in Salt Lake. So I'm going to go and see my friends play their music and go to some cool workshops. And Brandy Carlisle's the keynote speaker. So
That's exciting.
I'll be set
That's awesome.
at the Embassy Suites.
Hey, that's not bad. I mean, that sounds good.
excited
I don't know
about
if it's.
I'm not gonna stay. I'm staying at my sister's house, which is not the Embassy Suites, but it's fine. It's free. And then at the end of September, I'm playing Black Americana Fest in New Orleans. So that's exciting.
Awesome.
So I've never been there, so I'm very excited.
It's a very amazing city.
Yeah.
Very strange city. One of my favorites.
I love to be strange. I'm from Florida.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess Louisiana's probably the closest similarity to Florida. Most similar to Florida that I could think of off the top of my head.
That.
Of places I've seen, it's swampy.
I'll be the judge of that.
But anyway, so if you're anywhere in America, go check out a Grace Givertz show and check out her new record, Midnight Feature. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will see you around.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. I want to thank Grace so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I want to thank everyone on the Struggling Artist team. You can find them all on Instagram. Chris Chavez is at 716 The Sound. Jeff is at JRB Image. Ryan is at 13th floor _ Ryan. And Dave is at pinball _ punks. And you can find me, Aria Rad, at coffin _ salesman. So thank you all for tuning in. We're going to leave you off with a song from Grace's new album, Midnight Feature. This song is called Sick Beats.
The doctor cut open my shoulder, the one you always tend to lean on. When I came to, I asked if they had cut away the parts of me that cling to you. You were never scared of me. All the things in my body will never let me be. You showed my future to me. Took it with you when you decided to leave. Somehow you